small penis or a large clitoris or an XXY chromosomal pattern. Okay, so now what they're saying with this definition is that because of a couple of people who have problems, we've got to change the whole fucking system? Are you kidding me? Here's how they explain gender identity. Gender identity is how people think of themselves and identify in terms of sex, man or woman. Gender identity is a psychological quality. I'd say a psychological problem, but that's just me. Unlike biological sex, it can't be observed or measured, only reported by the individual. Like the biological sex, it consists of more than two categories, including those who identify as a third gender, a two-spirit, both, or agender, neither. So let me read this again, okay, because this is important, okay? Gender identity is how people think of themselves and identify in terms of sex, being man or woman, okay? So, gender identity is a psychological quality. Unlike biological sex, it can't be observed or measured, only reported by the individual. So in other words, what they're really saying is this person could be fucking lying. It's all what they interpret it to be. So what they have hanging or not hanging doesn't matter. It's what they feel. All right? It's psychological quality. And it can't be observed. Of course it can't be observed or measured. Are you kidding me? Kids have been confused about themselves for years, until their 30s and 40s. Sometimes they never figure it out. But you know what? That isn't means for changing the whole goddamn system and teaching it to school children. What's wrong with you people? This is supposed to explain what you're doing? This is a condemnation of it, in your own words. Gender expression is everything we do that communicates our sex gender to others. Clothing, hairstyles, mannerisms, way of speaking, roles we take in interactions, etc. This communication may be purposeful or accidental. Didn't I just say that? It could also be called social gender because it relates to interactions between people. See, this whole social re-engineering shit. Gender expression also exists on a continuum, with feminine and masculine at either end. In between are those who express their gender androgynously, neither masculine nor feminine, as well as those who express their gender at various points along the continuum, which is fine when you're talking about adults. Okay? That's fine when you're talking about adults. I'll say it again. This is not shit you teach to a child. Or is it just me? Sexual orientation indicates who we are emotionally, romantically, and sexually attracted to. Who we are emotionally, romantically, and sexually attracted to. The ends of this scale are labeled attracted to women and attracted to men. In the mid-range is bisexuality and pansexuality. There are also people who are asexual, attracted to neither men nor women. And we tend to think of those people as falling into one of the two ends of the continuum. Attracted to women or attracted to men. Whether they are straight or gay, with only a small minority clustering around the bisexual, pansexual middle. Most people are in fact not at one extreme of this continuum or the other, but identify somewhere in between. Okay? So here they're handing you this garbage that most people are in the middle. They're bisexual. And, no, I'm sorry, but no. And if they are, it's just an idea, okay? Because it's so, accepted these days, which is, again, fine. What you do in your bedroom, in the privacy of your own home, is your own business. I don't need to know about it. I don't need it pushed into my life. I don't push my life on you. Don't push your life on me or my children. Note, our cultural expectation is that men occupy the extreme left ends of all four scales. That's male, man, masculine, attracted to women. And women occupy the extreme right ends. For each scale, the popular notion that there are two distinct categories, with everyone filling neatly into one or the other, is a social construction. The human condition does not operate as a strict binary system. If we look at what actually exists, we see that there is much middle ground. Very few people are actually at the extreme ends, and there are people at every point along the continuum. Each continuum concept exists independently. It is important to avoid assuming that you know where a person falls on all of the continuums, just because you think you know where a person falls on one or two. This has been adopted and reprinted with permission from the Center for Gender Sanity. The Center for Gender Sanity. I got to say it again. The Center for Gender Sanity has put this shit out, okay? This is the basis of what they want our teachers to teach our children, ladies and gentlemen. Now, I've read it to you here. You can read it yourself. I've put it in the chat. All you got to do, I guess, is go to Center for Gender Sanity, and you can find it there as well. Or, let's see, I'll give it to you again. It's, I'll have it in a minute. Oh boy, I'm sorry. Genderspectrum.org. Genderspectrum.org. You should go there, read this for yourself, and tell me if this should be taught to your children. Why, in God's creation, oh, wait a minute, did I say God? I'm sorry, I meant God. Why in God's creation would adults want to impose this on our children, but for one reason and one reason only? Because if they start hearing it now, they will believe it into the future, and once these children get into the future, they will be able to control their votes, ladies and gentlemen. You see how this is all working out? This is all based on an ideology, in my opinion. In my opinion. They are trying to get to your children's minds. Stop it, and stop it now. Now let's get to little Mr. Genderbread. It's something you got to see for yourself, and I've already put I'm going to do it again now. I'm going to put this in the chat room. I'm sorry if you're not in the chat room, but there's no other way I could think of getting it to you except by sending you to. Let me put that in there. That's where you can find those 12 points. You can find the definitions of the words that I or phrases that we just spoke about, and you can see the genderbread person, the little for the little blue penguins that we're gonna have a meet on the rug later. Give me a break. Just give me a break. Ernie Abbott says the very liberal adjustment counselors and psychologists working in the schools are a big part of the problem. You should hear the BS that they pass on. I could imagine, Ernie. Andrew Zodiac says, beta males, men in skinny jeans, etc., never fought for anything. Oh, my goodness. And Ernie goes on, to me, they are enablers, especially to those with anger issues in the behavioral programs in most school districts. And the juvenile court system is bullshit. And these punks who appear in front of these judges know it. You better believe it. You better believe it. Because they know that to get out of doing something, all they have to say is, well, you know, I'm confused. I got to go to the bathroom. Can I use the ladies' room? And right away, the judge becomes a gaga, drooling idiot. And right away is ruling, and, you know, oh, we got to get him help, and we got to give him... Send him to friggin' jail, you know, for doing what he did. And stop the bullshit. You see, there's just no accounting for anything anymore. Nobody's responsible for anything in this society that they're trying to build. You see what they're trying to do, ladies and gentlemen? They're trying to build a society that doesn't react, that doesn't talk back, that doesn't just accepts everything that these people tell you to accept, like PC. You got to do this. You can't say that. You can't say this. You know what? It's got to stop. It's just got to stop. And the American people are the only ones that can do it. That's just how it is. And if we don't wake up, this is the future that we have. A liberal, blasé, who cares attitude about everything. About work. You know, why should you work when the government can support you? Why bother? Let the government do it for you. And who the hell are you going to vote for? The guys that put the checks in your mailboxes. Who else? They don't want to hear things like, go out and work for a living. Do it yourself. You know, stand on your own 2 feet. Pull your boots up by their straps and go out and do it for yourself and your family and work hard. They don't want to hear these things. They don't know what work hard is. Well, actually they do, because they're working hard to change the way we do things in this country. And you know what? I'd rather die on my feet than be on my knees begging to this government or these people for anything. And just to mention, this story wasn't mentioned anywhere on MSNBC, NBC, ABC. None of the news outlets there carried this story. I don't see it anywhere else there. On any of those. And I checked for over a half hour. And I searched. I couldn't find it. They're too worried about, we're walking on clouds. Gay marriage begins in Nevada. And they're worried about Brian Williams, who says, wasn't Amazon meant to save us a store trip? And couples donate millions to Zoo Miami anonymously. These are the stories that are on the pages. All right? A faster Model S by Tesla unveiled. The bathtub slaying of a wife. And down further on the page is where they tell about the guy that died from Ebola. I mean, come on, really? This is where it's going, ladies and gentlemen. You need to wake up. You need to wake up. Because, you know, when people know more about pop culture than they do their own history or what's going on in the country today, that's pretty goddamn sad. And that's prime for takeover. It really is. I mean, you know, people start believing whatever the government tells them. That's not good. That's not good at all. So, in my opinion, we need to wake up.